Hi guys, Miss Acton here for reading today. So, yesterday we read a story called Bark George, and in the story, you guys saw that there are a character named George's mother, a character named George right there, and George's mother is asking George to do one simple thing, and it is bark. And George is doing everything but barking. He's saying meow, he's saying quack quack, oink, moo. He's saying all these different things. And the mom every time is saying, no, no, pigs go oink, ducks go quack, cats go meow, dogs go arf. Now bark, George. And she keeps trying to get him to bark. She's teaching him what the other animals are saying, teaching him what he needs to say, and then she's telling him to try again, and it's not working. So today we're going to find out that she's going to take a step further in proving how good of a mom that she is. So, says George's mother took George to the vet. "I'll soon get to the bottom of this," said the vet. "Please bark, George." George went, "Meow." So, what words help you understand that George's mother is a good mom? Right, so immediately I go to George's mother took George to the vet. If you're concerned about your pet, if you're concerned about your baby, you take them to the doctor, which is the same thing a vet is for a puppy dog. So George's mother's proving that she is a good mom because she's taking George to the vet. So these words helped you understand the meaning behind why George's mom is a good mom and what she's doing to help it. And now we're going to find out some words to give us clues on what kind of vet that he's going to. So the vet says, "Please bark, George," which shows that he's really kind since she said, "Please bark, George." So I like that part about him so far. Then George says, "Meow." Now let's see what happens. The vet reached deep down inside of George and pulled out a cat. Look at that. Pulled out a cat. So he pulled a cat out of George. So why was George meowing? Because he had a cat in his belly. The cat was the one that was meowing. Too stinking funny. So yesterday we worked on things that make the story funny, things that surprise you about the story. This would definitely be a page that is a surprise and is funny. And I hope that you're thinking to yourself, okay, George didn't just meow like the cat. He also oinked, he also mooed, and he also quacked. So what else do you think that vet's going to pull out of his stomach? And the fact that a vet is putting his hand inside of a dog's mouth like that shows you that he's a pretty good vet so far. Let's go to the next page. "Bark again, George." George went quack, quack. The vet reached deep, deep down inside of George. I hope you notice the repeated lines there. The vet reached deep down inside of George. And then the next one says, the vet reached deep, deep down inside of George and pulled out a duck. He pulled out the duck because George said quack, quack. Oh my gosh, this is getting so silly. So right now let's take a break and talk about all the words we've seen so far. And I want you to describe the vet with a word for me. So give me one word that describes the vet. Yeah, you could think maybe kind, caring. This isn't one word, but he's good at his job. He clearly could tell that George was not making the sounds that he's supposed to. He knew something was going on inside of him, and so he reached down inside of him, deep down inside of that puppy dog's mouth, and he's helping him feel better. So he is really good at his job so far. So I would definitely say kind, caring, a hard worker, good at his job. Yeah. So let's see what happens next. "Bark again, George." He keeps telling him, "Bark again, George," asking very nicely. George went oink. The vet reached deep, deep, deep down inside of George. There's that repeated line again, and pulled out a pig. Look at the pig's face. Look at the mom's face. Look at those eyes. She's like, what in the world is going on? Pulled out a pig. Okay, so what do the repeated lines tell you about the vet? Let's talk about the "bark again, George" one. What does that tell you about the vet? He keeps saying, "Bark again, George, bark again, George." Right, the same thing that we talked about. He's kind, And you remember the mom was the one that kept saying, bark, George, bark, George. She kept asking him to do too because she was concerned about him. He keeps being concerned about him too. And that's a perfect thing for a vet to be. A vet shouldn't just be, whatever, you'll get over it. A vet should be kind and should be concerned when things like that are going on. So he's doing a great job at his job. Also, it says the vet reached deep, deep, deep down inside of George. So he reached deep inside of George. He reached deep, deep inside of George. And now he's reaching deep, deep, deep down inside of George. So how do those repeated lines tell you about the vet? What do they tell you about him? Yeah, that he loves his job. I mean, there's not a lot of people that would reach their arm that deep down into a dog's stomach, especially after they've already pulled out a duck and a cat so far. So yeah, he's doing a great job at his job, and these repeated lines are keep giving us words that give us clues that he is good at his job. So what do the repeated lines tell you about the story? So what are we learning more about these repeated lines? Yeah, well, in the story, we're learning more things about George. We're learning that he possibly ate some things he wasn't supposed to. It's giving us more clues about our characters. We definitely learned in the beginning of the story more about our mom. We knew that she was a caring mom and she really was concerned about her pup. And now we're learning that the doctor is the same way. He's concerned, but he's also doing his job very well. So, repeated lines give us more meaning and tell us more about our story. Absolutely. All right, let's see what happens next. Bark again, George. There he goes again, being nice. George went moo. The vet put on his longest latex gloves. Look at him putting them on. Then he reached deep, 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 deep down inside of George. Oh my gosh, look at that. My favorite part of this entire book is the mom's face right here. Look at her right there. She can't even look. I think it's because she knows what's about to come out of her puppy dog's mouth. And pulled out a cow. Oh my gosh, look, the mom fainted. I am very surprised by this page. And it's funny. I mean, look, he had to pull so hard. Look at the vet. And this cow's even like, what in the world is going on? But oh my gosh, I bet George feels so good. Bark again, George. George went, arf. So he's back to normal. There goes a great surprise. Yeah. All right, we're almost done with the story. George's mother was so thrilled that she kissed the vet and the cat and the duck and the pig and the cow. Hey, those words give us evidence and prove to us that George's mother is not just caring towards George, but she's just a caring dog. She's a very friendly dog. And of course, our vet's friendly too because he healed him. Now he's back to normal. On the way home, she showed George off to everyone on the street. So she said, bark, George. And George went, hello. I wish I would have done the surprises and the funny part because we would have had so much of that today. I do want to go back to on the way home, she wanted to show off George. She wanted to show George off to everyone on the street. That shows you again how good of a mom that she's proud of her baby George and what he's done today and is able to bark again. That she wants to show him off. That's what good mamas do. They're proud of their baby. So George's mom's awesome, the vet's awesome, and we're happy that George is back to normal. And apparently, George can now speak English like humans can. So I hope you enjoyed this story on your classwork here today. You're going to dig deeper into those repeated lines and you're going to tell me more about characters in that poem that you're going to be reading today. So have fun, guys.